This is Self-Supervised Pretraining Improves Self-Supervised Pretraining from a team at UC Berkeley. Self-supervised pretraining has many benefits. First and foremost, there's no need for labeled data. And as we've seen in many publications discussed in our paper, self-supervised pretraining models tend to generalize better, transfer better to tasks and require fewer labels for downstream fine-tuning, can detect out-of-distribution samples, and this area of research is improving rapidly. However, self-supervised pretraining has several challenges. Many of the methods require lots of pretraining data, large models, and a long pretraining cycle, as indicated here on the right from the original SimClear paper, in which the SimClear model was trained for 3,200 epochs on ImageNet with batch sizes upwards of 30,000. And this brings us back to the earlier days of deep learning and the introduction of the pretrain-finetune pipeline. The pretrain-finetune pipeline was introduced in order to solve some of the problems with deep neural networks at the time. With pretrain-finetune, however, it allowed using less training data. Instead of fine-tuning the entire models, you could do small adjustments to bigger models and do less training. And this should all sound familiar. These same set of problems that the pretrain-finetune pipeline sought out to solve are the same problems that self-supervised pretraining itself is currently encountering. And so in this paper, we discuss hierarchical pretraining. Hierarchical pretraining is very similar to the pretrain-finetune pipeline, where we have some pretraining data that's used with a pretraining algorithm. The weights from this pre-train algorithm, the model weights, are then transferred to a downstream fine-tuning task in which a smaller amount of typically labeled target data is used to fine-tune this algorithm. In hierarchical pre-training, it's the same idea, except there's an intermediary pre-training step between the initial pre-training and downstream fine-tuning. Generalizing further, this intermediary fine-tuning can occur many times, where the goal across the pre-training sequence is to increase the pre-training similarity. This is particularly beneficial to study because many existing pre-trained models, such as those on ImageNet or similar common datasets, already exist and can be downloaded from model zoos. So this is effectively a free source of pre-training that exists in the wild. So the question is, how can we leverage that free source of pre-training to reduce the overhead of performing self-supervised pre-training on the data or tasks that we do care about? And brings us to the main question, why hierarchical pre-training? Because like the pre-train fine-tune pipeline, hierarchical pre-training leads to a large speed-up in pre-training convergence, performance improvements for downstream tasks, a reduction in the amount of data needed for strong pre-training, and more robust pre-training. The hierarchical pre-training pipeline looks like this. In the upper left, we have generalist pre-training, in which a pre-existing model is downloaded from the web, such as one from ImageNet, and then directly fine-tuned on a target task. Specialist pre-training pre-trains a source model from a similar dataset to the downstream target task. Hierarchical pre-training leverages the best of both worlds, in which an existing model is downloaded from a model zoo, then pre-trained on a source dataset that is similar to the downstream target task before finally pre-training on the target task itself and then fine-tuning on the target task, creating a hierarchy in the pre-training process. We perform a wide variety of experiments, and to get a feel for these experiments, let's look at one in particular. This is a linear evaluation protocol on the Resisc aerial image or satellite imagery dataset. Here we see in the blue line, if we perform hierarchical pre-training as laid out in the prior slides, over a small number of pre-training iterations, the downstream performance improves on the satellite image dataset. If we were to just transfer directly from the downloaded model, we would obtain the black dashed line here. If we were to pre-train from scratch, the specialist pre-training, it takes much longer and does not obtain as good of results. We explore similar experiments across 16 different visual domains, including aerial, autonomous driving, medical images, and natural and multi-object images. Furthermore, we explore many settings in the pre-training pipeline, such as the augmentation robustness when using hierarchical pre-training or specialist pre-training. In this example, we perform different augmentation sets across the pre-training pipeline for both HPT and a specialist pre-training model. As you can see by the blue line across different data domains, the HPT pre-training pipeline is more robust to augmentation settings and hyperparameter settings in general. Further details on our experiments, results, and methods can be found in our paper, but the conclusion, self-supervised pre-training improves self-supervised pre-training.